Lidan, thanks very much for joining me this afternoon. First of all, can you just give a little bit of background on yourself and your academic affiliation?
Yes, thank you, Tom, for having me. My name is Lidan Xu. I am an assistant professor of marketing at the University of North Texas in the United States. And I received my PhD in marketing from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. So for my research, I am particularly interested in innovation and new technology. And part of my research is trying to understand how consumers perceive the new technology and innovation. So the paper that we are going to talk about soon fits very well under that stream of research. And my other research area is to understand the social impact of innovation. So to understand, how innovation influence consumers' well-being and social welfare. So it's very much in the realm of innovation and technology.
So you mentioned the research paper, which I got in touch about, which was published in the Journal of the Academy of Marketing Science. What exactly did that study involve?
Yes, that's a great question. So the background of that research is really like, as the technology is advancing and more industries are starting to involve in technology, such as artificial intelligence as part of the process, right? It could be, using it as a serving agent. It could be built in the recommendation system. And our focus was to understand how, communicating about involving the artificial intelligence in the design process in particular influence consumers' perceptions of the product. And this is something quite new in the industry, as probably you mentioned that the bathroom industry is starting to incorporating those new technology in the industry. And we were really interested in understanding, how consumers think about it. Is it something positive? Will they buy those products? Or could, communicating this involvement of artificial intelligence actually backfire? So what we found was actually for the luxury products in particular, if the brand essence hinges on this kind of emotional value, which is essentially, how the product makes consumers feel, right? Is it about, increasing their gratification, satisfaction, or showcasing their identity? Then communicating the involvement of artificial intelligence in the design process can actually backfire and consumers don't like it. But when the brand essence also hinges on the functional value, for example, the performance, the innovativeness, the superior design, then this negative impression is gone. And in some cases, communicating about the involvement of artificial intelligence could even help with increasing their interest and purchase intention of the product. So it really depends on which aspects of the brand essence the brand is hinging on when we are communicating about the involvement of artificial intelligence.
So thinking about what this means for bathroom manufacturers, how do they go about determining what their essence of brand is in terms of that functional versus emotional delineation, which you've identified?
That's a great question. So I think this is really a two-part process. The first one, I think, is the brand should have a clear identification of the positioning of their brand in itself, their brand essence, what they want the consumers to perceive them, right? And I think the other part of the process is to understand from the consumer perspective, to get insights from the consumers, either existing consumers or potential consumers, to understand how they think about the brand, right? So, and I think bathroom industry is probably an industry that the functional value can become very important and very salient, right? If we think about, for example, smart bathroom, right? It's really something that consumers probably want a lot of, innovation, a lot of technology involved in it. So I think, like depending on the brand, depending on how the positioning of the brand, and we want our consumers' perception to be aligned with, the kind of brand essence that the brand is set for themselves. And if that alignment is not there, then perhaps one step further is to think about how we are able to, deliver this kind of message to our consumers.
Yeah, that really starts to kind of touch on what was going to be my next question, actually, around does it matter whether the use of tech is in the design and the manufacturing process, or does the potential to devalue the luxury also extend to the use of technology in the product itself?
That's a good question. That's a great question. And I think, technology does not devalue the luxuriousness, right? In fact, I think luxury and technology kind of goes hand in hand, in the sense that, in fact, what differentiates the luxury products from the non-luxury counterpart is actually their innovativeness, the kind of like superior performance that at least part of it that brings to the consumers, right? So I think the implication of my research is not to say, using technology is bad, you cannot use technology in the luxury products. I think the implication of my research is really to think about, if you are using and involving technology in the luxury, manufacturing design process, right? It is important to think about how you communicate that to the consumers, right? In one of our studies, actually, if we actually found if you make the appeal, the advertisement, focusing on the functional aspect of things. For example, you say this new collection is focusing on the superior performance, right? The power of performance. And in that case scenario, we actually found consumers like the product even more than when it was, designed with AI as compared to when it was designed with human. So it really shows that it's not about, how the process was, but how we communicate that to our consumers. And, I think it's also something that in our prior research, researchers have generally found that consumers are a bit skeptical of the new technology, especially AI, in the process of, for example, recommending or being a serving agents. So, it is something that we want to bring it to attention to the brand, to think carefully about, how you communicate that to the consumers.
Thinking about what all of this means for bathroom manufacturers specifically, what do you think is the one key takeaway for them from your research?
So I think one of the key takeaway, again, I think it's really about communicating, how we, so again, for bathroom industry, I think it's I didn't know, but you brought it to me that, the bathroom industry is also undergoing this kind of technology revolution, where more and more companies and brands are probably integrating, technology in the bathroom design and, fitting and stuff like that. So I think it's really exciting, but it's important to think about, what aspects of the value you want to be focusing on when you are communicating to the consumers. If the value is about emotional value, for example, how consumers feel about when you are using this product, for example, or how the product signals to other people, or how it helps you expressing your identity. In that case scenario, perhaps we want to kind of not making the technology aspect so salient. However, if you are talking about the innovativeness, the functional value, the superior design, the performance, then I think like this matching with the artificial intelligence and new technology very well, and that could potentially even help with the consumer's perception of the product when you are communicating with that. So it's really for the brands to think about, what do I want my consumers to be focusing on? And that could be depending on different products, different brands, and like even like the different aspects of the product characteristic that you want consumers to focus on.
Thanks, Lidan. And I think your research really creates a bit of a puzzle for bathroom manufacturers, actually, because at the most luxury end, I think it is an emotional purchase for the consumer, and they want to know about the provenance of the product and the input that it's had from human hands. So I think there is a complex kind of puzzle for our manufacturers to navigate. So thank you so much for talking about your research with us. And are there any other kind of takeaways which you think our members need to know about?
Sure. Yes, I think one last takeaway I want to emphasize is that I think this is really something evolving, and like with the technology revolution, with the involvement of the technology, it is important for brands to constantly trying to understand the consumers, and for us as researchers too, this is an ongoing process, right? And especially with the consumer characteristics might be changing, with the more widespread of such technology, it's almost inevitable, right? Like we are going to have this type of technology in our product, and so I think it's the brands and the industry needs to track down the consumer insights and how they think about the products using technology. And I think it will be an evolving process. And like maybe in a few years time, maybe consumers will become a little bit more receptive of it, right? So I would encourage the industry and the brands to constantly doing research to gain consumer insights on their willingness to adopt new technology for the bathroom industry.
Lidan, thanks very much.
Thank you, Tom. Have a great day. Thank you.